I've decided I can't sell it. Maybe I can. I don't know. I'd regret it. Do you think I'd regret it? I'd regret it. I'd really regret selling this bike. Hello again, welcome to the video. So this is probably my last ride out on the Moto Guzzi V7 for 2025. As you can probably tell, we're sliding into winter, and I have a sense that the council gritters are about to start spreading their horrible, nasty, corrosive salt on the road. And of course, you don't take an Italian supermodel like the Moto Guzzi V7 Stornello on roads like that. That's what I've got the scooter for. So welcome to the end of year review for the Moto Guzzi V7 Stornello, and as with all of my videos, it will be 100% objective when I'm talking about the gorgeous, beautiful, completely desirable Italian supermodel, the most brilliant bike in the world, which is the Moto Guzzi V7 Stornello Mark II. Right, let's get cracking. Passion is a strong and compelling emotion, and like anybody with a passion for bikes, I've just got an incredible enthusiasm for anything with two wheels, and Lord knows how much it's cost me over the years. But the thing is, it's delivered. And out of all of the bikes I've got, it's probably the one for me that epitomises the word passion. Now, having said all that, I'm not immune to its limitations or idiosyncrasies. You know, it's got a bit of a lumpy engine and the fuel injection isn't great. The clutch is a little bit heavy and can be a bit peculiar when it gets hot. The rear suspension in particular is a little bit basic. But, you know, none of that matters, though, when I'm riding it, because the riding experience is just gorgeous. You know, as I mentioned before, with respect to, you know, the passion for the bike, the sound, the looks, the smell, the ride, you know, that just beats everything else. And touch wood, it's also been totally reliable. So in terms of my plans for the bike, the practical plans, well, the first thing, I definitely need a new set of tyres, so they'll go on next year. And I'm also thinking about, should I keep the bike, whether to replace the rear suspension with Hagon shocks and also get the front forks overhauled as well, because I think that would make a world of difference. However, despite what I said before about the bike being the pure passion bike and the fact that I actually love it to bits, it's probably, out of the three bikes that I've got in the shed, the one that I am most likely to swap in the next 12 to 18 months. And you might wonder, despite everything that I just said about 5 minutes ago, why on earth would I even consider that? Well, it kind of goes back to what I was saying about it being a play bike. Now, for me, the value of bikes is in how you use them and where you use them. I'm not really one for collecting motorcycles. I did try that before, but it didn't really agree with me, to be honest. You know, I like to use them. And I must admit, I'm a little bit precious about the Guzzi, you know, where I take it, you know, despite the fact I've parked it in a hedge here. And I don't use it as much as I thought I would, you know, because of the weather conditions and where and when I want to go. So I am thinking about swapping it perhaps within the next 12 to 18 months for something that I might get a little bit more use out of. But just to run through some of the reasons as to why I might swap it. Well, as I said, I am a little bit precious about it. I want to get something that I can get a lot more use out of and have a lot more fun. And also, I think some of the idiosyncrasies will probably wear a little bit thin over the next 18 months. And I'm thinking in particular the clutch. The clutch is quite heavy, and I'm starting to get a touch of arthritis in my hand, so I think that's going to be quite tricky, you know, going forwards. And as some of you will know, you know, if you've got your own aches and pains, when you're feeling achy on a bike, you don't enjoy it. You know, you really don't enjoy it. So that's one reason. And as I say, I don't really like being precious about a bike. You know, I want a bike I'm going to use more and I don't feel too precious about. And I want something that I can just sort of not really knob about with, you know, on back roads and on gravel and puddles and things. Because the thing is, if I come across a big puddle on the Moto Guzzi, I'm not going to ride through it. I'm going to avoid it. Whereas in my head, what I really want to do is ride through it. So the kind of bikes I've been looking at are the Fantic Caballero 500, you know, the new one with the Moto Minerelli engine in it. Looks really, really good. And I think the thing is with the Caballeros, not only do they look good, but I think they're also pretty capable as well. Now I'll probably go for the one with the 19-inch front wheel, because I don't need the 21-inch front wheel for trail riding, because I'm going to keep my CRF for doing that. So yeah, there's things like that that are just sort of niggling away at the moment. So I don't have any firm plans, but I'll think about it over the winter in terms of do I want to swap the Guzzi. But the weird thing about it is, though, I think if I did swap the Guzzi for something else, I'd be full of regret. But the thing is, 3 bikes is the perfect number. I'm not sure if I could handle 4 bikes. What do you think? It's going to be a bit tricky in the shed, but maybe. I just know if I get rid of this, I'm going to really regret it in the same way that I regret getting rid of my XR600. I've just got that feeling. I don't know, what do you think? Okay, so while we're here, let's have a look at how many Moto Guzzi V7 Stornellos are actually left. So we'll go on to the How Many Left website, scroll down through these millions of different manufacturers and find Moto Guzzi. I mean, Guzzi should really be right at the top, I reckon. Anyway, so there's the Stornello. We'll have a look at all the models combined, and there we can see the numbers that were licensed and the numbers that were SORNed. And for folk outside of the UK, a SORN is a statutory off-road notice, so we have to buy motorcycle and vehicle tax in the UK, but you can also register it as being not taxed and being kept off the road. So as we can see, Q2 2025, there's 37 currently on the road and 22 that have been taken off the road. And we'll just cross-reference that with a few of the other stats as well. So you can see virtually all the registrations are in, looks like 2016, so yeah, 47 registrations and then 10, 12. So there might be about 60 altogether that were registered in the UK, and currently there are just over 30 on the road, and mine will be joining the ones that are taken off the road in a week's time. Right, I'll see you later. So in terms of the new bikes that are being released, no, I don't think there's anything particularly that I could imagine could replace the Moto Guzzi V7 Stornello. I do think the new 900 Scrambler looks pretty good, especially as they've modernised the paint jobs, but no, I don't think it would give me what the V7 gives me in terms of, you know, the theatre of riding and the charisma of the ride and the bike in general. Right, it's time to have a look at the enormously interesting Venn diagram and how this bike fits in with respect to the other bikes that I've done the end of year reviews for. I almost forgot, and I can't believe I haven't done this yet. So I have in my hand a strip of Manchester 17 Motorcycle Club stickers, kindly donated and given to me by Rick Stewart. Thanks, Rick. So I need to put one on the bike, so I'm thinking the front mudguard. What do you think? Perfect. Okay, so more importantly, what is my choice of biscuit this year for the Moto Guzzi V7 Stornello? Well, I've gone a bit posh and I've got another biscuit from the Border Biscuit range. Now, before you say anything, I'm not sponsored by Border Biscuits, but I mean, if anyone's watching, I would love to be sponsored by a biscuit company. Anyway, these are dark chocolate raspberries. They sound a bit posh and sound a bit weird actually, but I thought they would go with the Guzzi because we've got the dark richness of the chocolate, and they do really good chocolate, and I thought the raspberry sort of went with the red stripe. Anyway, let's have one. Oh. Dark, fruity, idiosyncratic and classy biscuit, that to go with a classy bike. The thing is, I can't sell it, can I? I can't sell it. I'd regret it and everyone would hate me. But the thing is, I really want to knob about in puddles. Can I handle 4 bikes in the shed? Oh, I don't know. really don't know. Oh, I love it. I can't get rid of it. Maybe I can. I don't know. Maybe I've just got to be tough. Dilemma. So the really fabulous news is I've managed to solve that painful dilemma by buying this and keeping the Moto Guzzi, and more details on this in a future video. I'll see you later.